On. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the show. And today I've done back-to-back shows, and I got a couple of my faves. I guess I'm too old to say fave, I guess, but the young people say faves. Had Stephen Mira, one of my faves, and now I got Michael Osadona back on the show today. Another fave that just talks. They can just talk off the cuff, and we don't go scripted a lot of times. We just talk about maybe the big topics, and that's about it. Here on the Strange Reality, we cover a little bit of everything, and I think, and as far as Michael Osadona is concerned, he's also a musician, so we get along on that part. I'm a musician also, retired musician, or I got too old and they kicked me out, Michael. So, but I don't, but that's the way it goes. But I went on to bigger, better things. I'm talking to people like you, Michael. So Michael Osadona. Michael is a multimedia developer, songwriter, screenwriter, musician, engineer, and very good. I've seen his equipment. It's fantastic. Programmer, animator, TV show host, and a scientist contactee. He's had some ET experiences. Michael is an author of software, a teacher, and an electrician, an electrical engineer. You can see his shows on Truth on TV, specifically Sedona UFOs TV, Sedona News website, and his tours on Arizona UFO Tours.com. Arizona UFOs TV. Sedona is a magical place for him, and I love Sedona too, and it's a great place, and it's but not so. What's the weather like, Michael Osadona? Welcome to the show. What's the weather like there?
The weather has been very unpredictable. We have
Oh,
gone from uh, butt freezing cold
yeah,
to a late spring warm in a day. I mean, it's so weird. When they chemtrail the hell out of us, then in
yeah,
comes the cold.
right,
But if they don't, then we might get a very high, like 30,000, 25,000, 30,000 foot cirrus overlay that passes by, and it doesn't bother us. It doesn't change the weather. But when they chemtrail us, of course, changes everything. And in an hour in Sedona, this is why I don't take money online for my tours, is because in an hour it can go from completely clear to completely overcast
yeah.
because of chemtrails here in Arizona. It's terrible.
I was there on a rainy, cool day, and that's when I met the ET, though. That was back in 2010. And when Sedona's rainy and cool, it's not pretty. I mean, to me, it's not pretty. I've been there
And
several
yeah,
times, and I love the nice weather. But yeah, we're going to be talking about different topics. Some of the topics I'll have to kind of put an underlying disclaimer here that some of the topics we may discuss are for entertainment purposes only. So the
Title
public can catch
17.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Title 17. So, Michael Osadona, what do you
Yeah.
want to start off with? You mentioned something about Three Eye Atlas being
Yeah. Yeah.
destroyed. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, it wasn't destroyed, it was damaged. And what happened was a decision was made, and I wasn't there, but a decision was made when it was just about at the point of Mars's orbit that it was a danger. And so it was fired upon, it was damaged, and has been um, slightly increased angle of departure from what it was going to do. So I don't know if it's still going to be able to visit Jupiter and Saturn on its way out, like it kind of planned, but it's leaking fuel, which is a hybrid form of CO2. If you take C14, O10, and O10 and make CO2 out of it, you've got four neutrons that you can easily use for power. And as anybody knows that's familiar with a neutron bomb, neutrons have quite a bit of power if you convert them to energy directly, and that's kind of what they do. So this fuel that leaked out was a hybrid CO2, leaving a kind of a blue color, and the ship is on its way back out. Now, this all happened while they were on this side of the sun, and we're on this side of the sun. Okay,
Hmm.
so there's Jupiter and Mars, and then Earth would be here, but Earth was over here on this side. So this is an AU, this is an AU astronomical unit, 93 million miles. And so this is 186. So it's about 200 million miles away from Earth. Never got close, never going to get close. We, in our Space Force guys, turned it, helped turn it around, and it's well on its way outside of Mars's orbit right now. And as Earth is coming around this side of the sun by the end of February or so, it should be high enough away from the sunset that I'll be able to see it with the night vision. Before that, you could see it probably in 2 weeks or so with a telescope. But
Hmm.
obviously, I can't use something like a telescope with night vision in that light. Way
Yeah.
different. I
Would that
just lost
would
both my
yeah
ears. That's funny.
would that
Hang on a second
explain
while I plug
some of
this
the
back
off
in there.
would that explain some of the off gassing and some of the explosions people said that they've seen, that maybe they are space force? What were they
Yeah.
hitting them with? We have craft that can get out there to them, Michael.
Dave, Dave.
I
We
just
have
want you,
we
yeah.
have we have craft that do 100 times the speed of light. We
Well,
have craft. We have craft all over this uh, local star cluster. Okay, so we've got 41 other stars besides the sun in our local star cluster. It's kind of empty right here in this arm of the galaxy where we are, which is about 2/3 of the way out to the end of the arm from the core. And we're in a little 150 light year diameter area of space that is kind of light of dust, light of dark matter, and light of stars. And so it's a very good place to be able to see our neighbors and build relationships, which we have just recently, like in the last 10 years, codified by us going to their location, not just them coming to our location. So our TR3E series is capable of bending the time-space fabric so much that it's capable of an effective 100C.
mm,
Now, an effective 100C, okay, that's
yeah,
because it's cheating. It's bending the time-space so that when we go actually less than C, it's bent such that our effective distance traveled in that time would equal 100 times the speed of light. So that's what we can do now. Uh,
and
going out to Mars and Jupiter is nothing.
you
Yeah,
mentioned they kind of damaged the Three Eye Atlas, and you said that
yeah.
you got information, and you said they are you
Space
in
Force. Yeah.
contact? Yeah, are you in
Yeah.
contact with some people, Michael? Some people,
I-
right?
I'll just say that I'm connected a lot more than other people
Okay,
on average. Other than that, I know it sounds, I don't want to even talk about that because then people want to dig and, oh, we'll prove it and all that kind of stuff. And there's no way I'm going to. I'm just not.
yeah,
I'm just going to say what I say. And then I have a caveat on my tour, Dave, and I've told this to you too. Don't believe a word I say. The word believe has the word lie cleverly hidden right in the middle. I don't want you to
yeah,
believe
right.
anything. However, I will not lie to you for any amount of money. I don't care what it is. That's one of the, that's my thing is when I die, I know that I will have one thing, my credibility and my honor. So when I say I won't lie to you, I won't. But I don't expect you to believe that. You got to look things up, and
Hmm.
if you can't find anything of reference, I will help you. If you write me an email,
Okay,
at michael@arizonaUFOtours.com, and just to say in there, I want to know how to know more about this. I'll find two or three URLs for you to look up and go find some data.
okay,
And then it's up to you to do your own homework after that, of course.
okay. Sounds good. But the weather here in Illinois, it's right
Oh,
now
yeah,
it's 20 something degrees, and we've had -2, and we've had
yeah.
0, and
We
we've got
had
about,
that storm a week ago. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we just cleared out of that. That was Sunday. They started clearing the snow, and so I got with the program after all the snow fell, and so it was about 8 or 9 inches, I think. And so
Wowzer.
they did a good job clearing the roads here. Of course, we have practice with that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
right.
we didn't have any snow at all, not even fake snow. And when I say fake snow, that is the snow that has little seeds in it that you can light on
Yeah.
fire, okay,
Yes.
which is really metals and things. So, and I've done it firsthand, personally. I'm not talking as if all I did was watch a YouTube video. Okay. And as a video producer, anything could be faked on video. I know that. That's why I do the things myself to make sure. But the snow hasn't hit this year. It probably won't hit until about March 7th to March 10th in Arizona, which is weird. I know everybody else gets hit much earlier with their winters, but our winter is always late. This weather they just started manipulating inside the West Coast as it was moving east, and then of course it's getting worse and worse as it goes east.
Hmm.
Texas just had their thing. Now you've had your thing. The East
Yeah.
Coast is probably in the middle of, oh, I think I saw minus 20 in Minneapolis. You know, imagine that.
Yeah. And the
Yeah.
temperature.
That's one way to keep people inside.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
they're not. They've been getting out in
that's
this
oh,
weather. It's
that's
crazy, and I think there's a lot of crazy people.
I've I've always said that, water cannons are very effective at minus 20.
Yeah, they don't use those anymore. I just wonder
It's
why.
crazy. Imagine a
Yeah,
pulsed water cannon,
yeah.
like a super soaker.
Hmm.
So it goes and it flies through the air, right? That freezes midair and becomes a dart.
Yeah.
Like boop, 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 boop. I think people would go away.
Oh, I guess so. I
I
mean,
think the street would be cleared. Yeah.
I know I'd get the hell out of the way. But let's go into talked about Three Eye Atlas.
Yeah.
Uh, you talked about you wanted to mention some turmoil that's in the country, and
Well, yeah.
what does that have to do? Let's kind of tie it into what it has to do with our neighbors and extraterrestrials and the beings here on Earth, and what how are they looking at all this turmoil, this fighting and political stuff and everything?
Uh-oh, you're thinking it's going to get you in trouble, buddy.
Yeah.
Uh, so the World War IV ended December 2024 officially. So it ran from 2008 to 2024. That was World War IV. And the reason that they lost the war was because 95% of the human race wasn't killed. Okay. That was the agreement that the cabal made with the Draco, that they would kill 95% of humanity, and then they could give the planet back to the Draco, who ran this planet for 500 million years before they were kicked out for violating the rules of the lease, shall we say. And that's probably a topic for another show.
Yeah.
So this war got lost. Okay. So now, does that mean that Draco are giving up? I mean, no, they're not going to give up, but they can't just come and take us because that's, exopolitical suicide. You can't do that. So what they have to do is try to find another way. So another way to get everybody to kill each other is through divide and conquer, right? There's two major weapons that the rulers of this planet have that have always worked: divide and conquer and problem reaction solution.
Right.
So right now they're working really hard on the divide and conquer, and they're doing that with, again, using tools that they'd never be successful without, called the lamestream media or
Oh,
legacy media.
yeah.
That's that's the only way that they could gain any traction, because there's a lot of us out here, Dave, who are doing this now, right?
Hmm.
Telling the truth is what I mean. So this latest stress increase level, all they have to do is buy a few clowns like Walls and Fry and make them ignore the published law accepted by Congress, voted in by the people, that we're not supposed to have illegals in our country. And so somebody has to go around and collect the illegals and take them out of the country if they won't go voluntarily. I mean, it's like, what method would you choose,
Hmm.
Mr. Left person who doesn't like ICE? It's like,
Hmm.
okay, ICE was created by the Homeland Security Act. It is lawfully tasked with going in and collecting illegals and kicking them out of the country. That's their job. It's the law.
Right.
So the people who are protesting against this are protesting against enforcing an existing law that we, the people, the majority, have put into place. So all of a sudden, their argument for democracy goes right out the window because they're way in the minority. 80% of people want all criminal aliens out of this country. That's not just a majority, that's beyond a supermajority. The reality is that it's a few, not even the majority of Minnesotans, it's a few who are being financed with Soros and other NGO monies to create a coordinated army against the Constitution of the United States. And that's what we're experiencing. They're using cryptically encoded messaging. They're using code books and all kinds of things. This is not a protest. This is a coordinated insurrection against the Constitution of the United States. And, the proper way to deal with it. And by the way, I wrote the president, I sent him a text a week ago and said, Mr. President, yes, I do have his number. Mr. President, please invoke the Insurrection Act and get things straightened out in Minnesota and then move on over to Oregon. That would be the way to clean this up now. The people that died, I call the Darwin Award winners. The Darwin Award. Are you familiar with that?
Yes. Uh-huh.
That's okay. So what I consider that Minnesota produces pretty good Darwin Award winners. Now you can analyze that AI and see what I just said.
But we got to express sympathy for their deaths and their families.
We have to
We
express
have to have
sympathy for
feeling.
the parents
Yes.
who had, I'm sure, nothing to do with programming their kids to go out and do this. It was the governor, it was the mayor, it was a media, it was CNN and other MS, whatever they're calling themselves now. These people were these people that died. These people were breaking the law in the most egregious way that you and I, as 13-year-olds, knew better
Oh, I was
than
scared.
never run in front and try and interfere with a cop.
I was
You
always afraid of
just
cops. Yeah.
right, right. I mean,
Yeah.
no, it's not even a matter of fear. If you're grown up, it's respect. It's like they've got the authority to do me serious. I think I'm going to step out of their way. And even if you wanted to stop what they were doing, you can't stop what they're doing by jumping in their way. You can only stop what they're doing by changing the law that provides what they're doing to be lawful.
And a lot of things you're saying, Michael, it's not just for entertainment purposes only. I want the platform to know, but it's what you've been saying is actually on the news. A lot of these stories are out there on the news, what you've been talking about.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so it's nothing it's not
Uh,
your opinion or my
no.
opinion, but yeah, it's
And
actual
Dave,
news.
I've litigated in state and federal courts for almost 50 years.
Okay.
So I know law. I know what law is supposed to be, and I know the difference between the way it's enforced in some cases. In this case, if non-LEO law enforcement officers, I'll just use LEOs. So from now on, I'm not going to say, law enforcement officers, I'll just say LEOs. If LEOs are doing their task, and it doesn't matter which kind they are, whether it's CBP, FBI, CIA, NSA, DIA. I mean, you could throw three dice with any letters on them like this, and you're going to come up with an actual group of intelligence or police force or something. These guys have the authority to do what they do because the people voted for them to do what they do in the USC code. So it's anything that's codified in the United States Code has been authorized by the people through their representation to have passed. The CFR, the Code of Federal Regulations, is the book that tells the other side how to enforce those laws. It tells the law enforcement side what they can do to enforce and what the penalties and all that kind of stuff are. Those USC and CFR works hand in hand
Mm-hmm.
so that we, the people, know what the laws are and how they can enforce it. Anybody with an 74 IQ would be able to know that you don't interfere with police operations. And they're obviously police operations. Just because someone that's really, really dumb, probably the dumbest governor in the country, tells you that they're not real, that doesn't make them not
Yeah.
real.
Right.
And that's what's important. There's your Title 17.
Right.
So, what they're saying is
There's
Title 17. It's just,
both
yeah.
sides though, Michael. We got we got the Trump side. There's a lot of people in the Republican Party who actually are watching this too, and they're saying, well, maybe ICE is being a little bit too tough. and maybe we should back off a little bit. There's more and more people saying that, so both sides are kind of saying that.
So that's
But there,
because you've got Republicans that are not American, pro-America first Republicans. They're rhinos, Dave.
yeah,
When people say they saw the clip on CNN, the whole 12 seconds, and they can decide that this is the conclusion, right there, they've just indicated that they're ignorant. And when I say ignorant, that means they don't have information. You have to watch a summary of 3 hours of information to see how, especially these two casualties, fatalities, were interfering, egging on, cursing at, yelling in the ear, blowing horns off, whistles in their voice, attacking, pushing, blocking cars, all this, and when they've been told again and again and again to leave the area. Then you find out their attachments. They're attached to organizations whose purpose is to block ICE, which means their purpose is to protect criminals. And to me, that's all I would need. If I were president, oh, this would have been over a lot sooner, dude. I'm
well,
telling you.
Trump said something about Soros. I've been busy this afternoon. I've only caught a couple of things that they was mentioned, like Bovino has been replaced. That some are saying he's fired, but you said not.
He's
And
he's
also,
he's just back as director in Mid California of
yeah,
things on a lot of things, but he is still, he's just been removed of first in command in Minnesota.
eh,
That's all because we can't do this in a way that's diplomatic. There is no compromising with these people.
yeah. Isn't it something
Just
though?
let us have the murderers.
Yeah,
No. Just let us have the child rapists.
yeah.
No. It's like, how do you compromise with that, Dave?
Right.
Tell me. I'll
Okay.
listen.
This is going on all over the world, in Europe, Canada, Australia, everywhere, Philippines. We're having the cabal that's influencing people with money, and that's where it's all come from. Soros
Yep.
is definitely has to be one of them, and
Yep.
I'm just saying he has
Alexander now. Yeah.
Alexander.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't hear about that.
George is pretty much out of it. Um,
Yeah. Okay.
Kind of like Biden.
Right.
Which Biden? The blue-eyed Biden,
Yeah.
not the green-eyed, the brown-eyed, or the black-eyed Biden, but the blue. It's kind of like that one, where Mr. Poopy Pants.
Yeah.
So I don't think that George is going to be making a lot of decisions, but Alexander is making a lot of decisions. And if you want to know what the depths of evil that tree is gone, just married Huma Abedin,
Hmm.
Frazzle Drip co-partner.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the level of evil that is. So of course they're going to be putting money into breaking up the most powerful culture on the planet.
Are these people Dracos, Michael?
No,
Are
no,
they?
there's quite possibly influenced by something orders of magnitude more evil than the Draco reptilians. Draco reptilians are 3D like us.
Mhm.
Okay. You know my story about how I was basically taken over by Baphomet for a few months and it
Yes.
tried to kill me, right?
Yeah.
That's the level of evil. And I felt it, Dave. I was in another realm with a whole set of mathematics that doesn't work here. I was in other verses. This is a universe. Well, it's not. It's a verse. There's more verses, and every verse has a different set of mathematics
Hmm.
because its 11th dimension creator created it with a different set of mathematics. And so I've mastered this dimensions, this verses set of mathematics. But I was in a place where it was entirely foreign to me, where crystalline, comma-shaped objects were alive and communicating, and not fun.
Yeah.
That's. Anyways, so and I wouldn't speak about it if I didn't have first-hand knowledge.
I know you've
So
had a lot of experience. Yes. And
this
we've
this
talked about
level
that.
of evil is what's influencing through its proxies uh, the most evil people on the planet. Now, the most evil people on the planet have power, and they have power over people. And so, since they have power over the people, they can make the people do what they want them to do. They can create NGOs that can suck money out. We just stopped USAID, but Act Blue is still going,
Mhm.
and that's a big Soros machine. and it needs to be eliminated. Just like, all this anti-American stuff needs to be eliminated. Now, I'm not saying, everybody should be blown up. I'm not saying like, Netanyahu, we're just going to go kill all the leaders of that country and then no, 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 no. I think that we should have an area of land that all these people can be put on, like Australia was, right?
Right.
Something like that. And
Penal colony. Yeah, penal
yeah, and
colony.
maybe Greenland. Who knows? Maybe there's more reasons for Greenland than you
Yeah.
think.
I heard there's some in-depth decision making there that the White
Oh
House
man,
was
that's
talking
another
about.
thing. That's another thing, and a lot of this is classified. The benefits of having Greenland.
Yeah.
There are underground things that are in Antarctica that you've heard about
Yes.
that are also in Greenland that you haven't heard about.
Yeah.
And so those are, doot doot, it's like opposites. Hello. Those kinds of things are not going to be disclosed before the stuff that was taken in Iraq and Bosnia and Persia slash Iran and those kind of things. There was amazing antiquities from ancient rises of beings on this world that were taken in those wars. And Greenland holds a lot of that stuff. Plus, we got a couple of really cool bases to put people already on Greenland that people don't know about. And those will probably be expanding because there's going to be a lot of people to send out there, I think.
Yeah.
And
They
what a
talked
great
about the
place like
two.
Greenland,
Yeah.
it must be green, right?
Yeah.
It's a green new land.
Yeah. I heard about the two bases we have there already.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, yeah, I heard about
See,
that. But
what am I doing? I'm not telling you anything.
yeah,
It's okay.
okay, okay. What about the underground stuff there in Greenland?
That's what I'm talking about. Okay.
Okay,
So the
are
underground, under ice, underground. So under
yes,
ice, on ground, and under ice, underground. Those are two different things. Under ice, on ground includes prior rise, so pre 13,000 years ago, constructions that weren't buried, like Göbekli Tepe was buried, to against the
hmm
great calamity that was known to be coming. There's stuff there that is above ground, and there's stuff there that's underground. And there is, at least from what I understand, one cloning base under Greenland, just like there's one cloning base under Alaska. But I don't have a double source confirmation on that. So just call that Title 17. And but the amount of how do I say this? Very valuable minerals. Greenland's big.
yes,
It's
it
big. It's
is.
big, big. And Greenland has a lot of minerals that we would be very glad to extract and then pay Greenland huge sums of money for, and it still take it and leave them a little bit if they want to, or we could even put together. Okay, time to leak shit out. Supercapacitor manufacturing facilities, and then build the supercapacitors there, building the cellulose machinery and all that kind of stuff right there on Greenland, so that have their employees work it, and we could make supercaps, which will replace all batteries on planet Earth shortly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, underground there in Greenland, are these the Dracos? Are there ET
No, no,
bases
no,
there?
no.
No, not.
Not particularly. If there is, it's just remnants, and they won't be there long. It's the Draco's underground stuff is well contained, well known about, guarded by a human perimeter, and they are not a threat to us. The Draco are not a threat to us unless we give them our planet, and then they have rule over the planet and can do to us what they want. Until that happens, and it didn't happen, it was supposed to happen before December of 24. Since it didn't happen, we don't have to really worry about them, we, you, and me. Now, the people that made the promise, the cabal, right? We're the alliance, Dave. That's you and me. We believe in people's God-given right to life. So we're
Right.
in the alliance. The cabal wanted everybody dead, leaving no more than 500 million on planet Earth.
Yeah, I heard that.
The cabal wanted to eliminate everybody 95% and give the planet through transstellar contract. I'm trying to translate because it's all picture and I have to put it into English. Into put Earth into the hands of the Draco officially. That's really what was supposed to happen by December 2024. but there's too many humans. We didn't fall for it.
Okay, what about the 12 big families that are part of the cabal, the
The
Rothschild?
bloodline families,
Yeah, right.
yeah, the bloodline families, they're still, it all leads back to Cain and Abel. And although those are, how I say that, aliases. Okay. So Cain and Abel are aliases. So when the hairy version of the ape killed the balder version of the ape, almost all of them, it became in the interest of everyone involved to keep track of bloodline. The Abel side of the bloodline is basically the Judeans, which is the Palestinians.
Hmm.
We call them Palestinians. They're really Judeans. So those are the downline of Abel for the most part. Now, there was five, and I've talked to this on a prior episode. There was
Yeah.
five different kinds of humans that were planted here over a 2 million year period. The African, the Asian, the Scandinavian, the South American, and the Arab. And they were placed in all disparate places, given pyramids for power and knowledge of agriculture to keep them local so that they wouldn't be traveling too much. That was the process.
So the
But
mixing of those five actually turned
is
up
everything.
lot of different races. Yeah.
Yeah, it's everything. So it's very difficult to come up with the original, um, which was the original Scandinavian bloodline
Mhm.
that was against the original African bloodline, and I think that that's where the everything about light and dark, kind of came from that. Unfortunately, it's just look, it's just melanin's melanin. But there were different cultures. And for some reason, there was a battle between them. And the African mostly won, killing a lot of the Scandinavian original line. So this was a battle that happened a million and a half, million and three quarters years ago. So it's not something that's even got bastardization of the original. It's written somewhere. It's just
So it was a
that story's gone. Yeah.
high tech war. It wasn't
High
just
tech war. Oh yeah, we always end up being less advanced than the prior version of us. See, because there's no such thing as evolution, Dave. There's only such thing as entropy in mathematically in this verse. So unless you say evolution of mind or something like that, then I guess we're talking about a different definition. But if you're talking about evolution, as in monkeys became humans, doesn't work that way. Everything decays, everything entropies. So we get dumber and dumber in each creation. The 12,500 year ago version of us was much more intelligent than the one now. And the one now is dumber than the 150 years ago.
yeah.
Because I'm seeing what they're producing out of these schools and stuff, and like
Yeah.
like half of them have it together, but the other half of them don't have anything together in it. It's just really weird.
Yeah. What about
I'm
the
hoping life experience hopefully fills them in on what
yeah.
reality is. Yeah.
And then the Tartarian, that fascinates me because
Ah,
they were
yeah,
here and they were gone.
yeah,
Could you, and you're talking about these ancient civilizations being smarter than us. I agree.
yeah,
Ancient Egypt with these columns that are down underneath of them now.
yeah, yeah.
And could you talk about Tartarian? You know much about that? Really?
Well, yeah. Well, Tartarian was the 75,000 to 25,000 year ago culture on Earth, as I understand it. And Earth was a lot more, how shall I say, it had a higher CO2 and higher oxygen, so it was more evenly temped.
Mhm.
Okay, and so Tartaria basically spread all over the Earth and infiltrated other mm, civilizations and things and brought them more advanced ideas and things. Kind of like we were given integrated circuitry by a certain UFO that we brought down in 47.
Yeah.
Cultures were increased by visits by the Tartarians. But nobody lasts forever. And there was a cataclysm, as it always happens. And sometimes these cataclysms don't hit Earth. Sometimes these cataclysms are things that come by and tectonically interact with Earth and chemically interact with Earth and cause great changes that are sudden, and that wipes out 80, 90, 95% of civilizations, which then have to kind of restart. And sometimes when they restart, they've adapted. Now, adaptation happens, evolution does not. So if all of a sudden the Earth changes by 15 degrees in a week, by 15 degrees C in a week, okay, your animals are going to have to adapt. And so they'll get thicker feathers or fur, or all of a sudden they'll be building domiciles where they used to live out in a tree or whatever. But this is adaptation, not evolution.
Mhm. Uh, I'm looking at the way things are going. They're saying that the sea level's rising, and they said that and one side is talking about climate change, but
Yeah.
we're not seeing the climate temperature getting hotter. It's
Here's
actually got cold this year, didn't it, Michael?
right. Well, it's going down right now. I don't think we're heading for an ice age or anything, but it's actually dropping. If you look at the aggregate of weather, the temperature's dropping at the surface. Um, but you said something I was going to comment on. What the heck?
Oh,
As we manipulate chemtrails, we manipulate weather. So the only thing that changes weather, climate, the only thing that changes climate, oops, different thing. Weather is local, climate is global. The only thing that changes climate that's caused by man is chemtrails.
yeah. And who's
There,
doing the chemtrails, Michael?
yeah, that's again, you're going back up to the people that we don't mention, the
I see.
families that we
I
don't
see.
mention. They're the ones. Look, they've got quadrillions of dollars.
Yeah, I heard that. Yes.
Okay, so there's no comparison. If three of them get together and decide they're going to do something, there's nothing on the planet that can stop them until we stop them.
Mhm.
And I'm not mentioning any names for a reason. I'd like to see them all removed from the planet.
Yeah.
And if I don't say any names, then I can't get in trouble.
Right. I guess the money talks, I guess, to a lot of different people who
It
are
really
looking for it.
does.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
Uh, Carla, there's somebody at the door. Sorry. I
Okay,
think
that's
it's a
all right.
delivery for some pharmacy prescription that they're going to need a signature.
Oh,
So, anyways, um, I think I think we'll be okay. I think my microphone
okay.
will
Yeah, we're
drop out to anything that happens there at the door. So, if it's destructive or
distracting. It's okay.
distracting or something, let me know.
We're fine. We're fine, Michael.
Okay,
I think
good.
it looks like she's talking peacefully at the door, so everything
Yeah.
looks good.
Oh yeah, there's no. I didn't hear any black helicopters, so I don't
Yeah.
think that's going to be an issue.
Do you get those too? You get the black
Oh
helicopter?
man, I'm at a place. Of course, have you seen my truck
I think I've seen it years
with the
ago.
turret,
Is there?
the
Yeah.
twin
Yeah.
laser cannon turret on top and
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah.
So it draws some attention.
I see.
I got a radar dish that actually raises, and everything. That kind of draws attention a little bit to my truck. So when a helicopter or a osprey or something like that flies over, I'm not too surprised really.
Yeah. But
They just want a closer look.
yeah. But no, I hear a lot of people are having helicopters. I've been followed around, and my computer's been messed with a lot.
Yeah.
And I've been hit with energy. I don't know if you know
Yeah.
about the energy. They talked about that Venezuela, attack.
I know all about that stuff, Dave. I worked on this stuff in the 1980s. I know all
Yeah,
about that stuff. Yeah. What
it's
do you
a
want to
it's
know?
it's a weapon that they put down all the soldiers in the fort
Yeah.
so they can move things.
500 dropped by 20. And only
Yeah.
half of those guys had this weapon. So there's 10 guys that took out 500 in 12 seconds. So what it is a focused, narrow beam, relatively speaking, acoustic wave that shakes you because it's at resonance of the human being. And now back
Yeah.
in 1972, I invented this on paper, and it involved pulsing a laser beam at 6.7 hertz. And if I did that, I knew I could shake a person to pieces.
Okay.
In 1972, I was
Yeah,
like
that's a
15. I was 15 years old. So
15. Okay.
that's how I was already advanced in beam weapon thought technology and all this kind of stuff. So
Yeah, we
now
heard
they have it.
yeah,
So
we
yeah,
heard reports that there were a lot of soldiers laying on the ground, holding their ears and
yeah,
bleeding from the
bleeding
nose.
from the nose,
Yeah,
bleeding from the eyes, bleeding from the ears, their head aching like the worst headache they ever had. This is because it's actually shaking you at the resonance of your body. Now, we all learned from Nick Tesla what resonance does. He's the guy that took this little spring-loaded Dobby like this and attached it to a bridge
right.
and hit it at the bridge's resonant frequency. And it wasn't long before the whole thing just shattered.
Yeah.
Okay, the same thing, human being is a structure,
Yeah.
not the soul, but the
Is
body.
that
It's a meat
yeah,
suit. The meat suit's a structure.
right.
That means it has a resonance.
Mhm. What about long-term effects? I think I got hit by energy back September 18th in Montana from this sphere, and it
Oh,
sounded like
yeah,
vroom, 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 like that.
yeah.
And then I felt all this vibration. A loud hum was hitting me for about a minute.
Let me ask you something about that. Was it, I'm going to slow down what you just did, and you tell me if this is what you heard. Boom, 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 boom.
Something. The
Was
low
it
end
kind of like, was
sounded,
that slow motion?
yeah. The
So it's
high
like,
end, no. The
"Booah,
low end, yeah.
booah," like only
It
a
was just,
faster decay. What
yeah,
it's doing is it's going beyond your ability to hear it and keeps dividing in half and dividing in half. So you're getting subharmonic, subharmonic, subharmonic until it's down at 6 to 7 hertz. And that's when it hurts.
yeah. I dropped down because the last
Yeah.
picture I took was of my feet because I must have slumped
Yeah.
down because I was hit with it. But ever since then, my body's just been kind of exhausted a little
The
bit.
best, yeah, well, there's also they're spraying us with shit, Dave, right now. That's
Uh,
really bad. The best thing that I can suggest for you is to make sure that you're ridiculously over taking supplements to maintain a high immune system.
I do that. Yeah,
Okay.
I do that. I was
And
also
also,
told to wear wrought iron on. They don't that frequency doesn't, and the ETs don't like wrought iron. And
I don't know. I didn't get any of that from my communication with ET. What they don't like is fear. That's what they don't like.
mhm,
The ones that you want to meet with, they don't like fear. The ones who are demonic, they eat fear. It's called
right,
loosh,
they feed
right?
off of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
loosh.
It's very important that if you want to meet ETs, you have to train yourself not to have fear. Now, Dave, if you want to know anything, you have to remove the fear that's keeping you from knowledge. Knowledge defeats fear. So I'm going to talk to you right now. This is to you and everybody you're watching. That's fine, but this is for Dave. Dave, you need to spend 20 to 30 minutes per day in your recliner or whatever it is that you go into before you actually go to sleep, right? Something you can relax in, but not fall asleep in. Spend that time, 20 to 30 minutes per day, creating perfect brain. Perfect brain. I'm creating perfect stem cells coming out the back of my brain and going right into my brain and making a perfect brain. It's a perfect brain. Well, what is that? What's the details of that? It doesn't matter. It's perfect. That's all you need to know. Perfect brain. Okay. Then when you go to sleep, guess what your body does? It works
It-
on your brain.
yeah.
Yeah. When you
Okay.
sleep,
Is that the same thing as meditation when you're
it's
resting?
a meditation. Meditation is a great big tent, Dave.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm writing this one down. I've been writing
So
other notes too, but
I'm
this,
prescribing this for you,
yeah,
okay? I'm
yeah, that's
prescribing this for you.
I
This
know because both of us
I'm
are
a doctor.
experiencers.
I can do this. I
Yeah.
don't have a piece of paper. I'm not writing chemicals for you, but I am a doctor and I do understand energy really well. You
Matter
can't
of fact,
cure stage 4 cancer metastasized throughout your bones in 7 months if you don't understand energy.
right.
So what I'd like you to do is be able to know, not believe, that you have the ability to change anything inside you that's not perfect. And
Okay,
you do.
I've had a young lady follow me around. I think she comes from that gal I met in Sedona in
Is she over
2010.
18?
she's 15, I think
Oh
16.
gosh, keep away, keep away.
She's my hybrid child, I think.
Oh, that's a whole
And
nother story. That's a whole nother
I've
story.
seen
Yeah.
her 6 times this past
No
year.
kidding.
Yeah, and I've seen her in different
Just popping in
locations.
different locations.
Yeah, yeah.
Does
Like
she
she
wave
knew.
at you or anything, or
No, no,
no telepathic communication?
no,
Or
she rode past me on a bicycle, and she looked just like the gal I met in
yeah,
Sedona, a
right,
younger version.
right.
And yeah, and I think
And the same
she's
one
my
is.
she's my child, and that
But
some
dig it.
people think I'm crazy, but that's
Oh no,
true.
it's entirely. All you have to do is take a seed from you and an egg from
Yeah.
someone else, put it together. I mean, China's doing this and growing a full term in 4.5 months, 5 months. They're growing full term babies in 5 months artificially.
Yeah.
So you tell me that an ET can't do this?
Oh,
You
they've
tell me
been,
that the long haired Egyptians couldn't do this?
yeah, right.
You
I
know,
actually in an abduction, I felt a baby's hand on my headboard,
wow,
and I
cool.
pulled it down. That was just about 5, 6 months after I met this ET gal, and so
Mhm.
it was almost 9 months actually. So that was gestation period,
How about that?
and that was my baby, and that's why I think this girl belongs to me. She's my hybrid
Well,
child.
wouldn't it be great to find out?
I would. I'd like for her
Send
to.
next time you see her. Okay, I'm gonna. I don't know if you do this or not, if you or you have knowledge of this, but you can poke her telepathically,
Yes, I know.
ping. We call it ping, just by focusing on an inner ear of hers, and then yelling at the top of your lungs in your head, and go like this.
Mhm.
You want to feel it, Dave? Check this out.
Yeah, I heard a click. Yeah,
Right? And that's
yeah.
through freaking all this
I
wires and everything else. So,
also heard that if you see somebody who might you think might be a hybrid ET, and they got their backs turned to you even, and just say you're an ET, I know, and they'll turn and look at you. Is
well,
that
you don't
true?
have to say it out loud
No, just
because
telepathically.
every they're all telepathic. In fact, we were telepathic, Dave, until Tower of Babel story.
Yeah.
We were telepathic. That's the one language we all spoke. And because it could make us think in phase, it made us very dangerous and uncontrollable to the controllers. And that's why we had to have the whole degeneration of our DNA, no longer 700 years old, only 150, no longer able to telepathically communicate, had to develop vocal cords, all this kind of stuff. See, we're always decreased in amazingness, removed one step more from the creator's perfection every time they mess with us.
Okay, since you have contact, Michael, still with these extraterrestrials, why is it? Are they the ones holding up disclosure, or is it our government, or who is doing all this, Michael?
Okay, I'm going to make a fine point correction, Dave. I'm not in contact with them whenever I want. I'm in contact with the stream of all knowledge.
Okay.
They are the ones that gave me the key. Took 12 minutes at an amazing high rate of programming to get that into my head so that, and that's only because I understood the math ahead of time, that I could understand this and utilize this and answer any question on any topic. I've pulled from the stream at least 3 times tonight on a question you asked that I didn't have the answer to, but it's right there because I have access to all knowledge. That's why you kind of got to say Title 17 at the beginning, because sometimes it's from my own memory. And I do have a photographic memory, but sometimes I have to pull the answer from the stream of all knowledge. So in this particular case, the reason that there's only 50,000 humans that are in high school right now, Earth humans, only 50,000, is because I'm going to make it really simple for you. This is directly from ET. Humans kill humans.
Yes. Sad. True.
Until the point comes where humans aren't killing humans, especially the unborn. Oh my God. I mean, war is one thing, temporary battle is one thing, terminating someone who's murdered people is one, but killing the unborn, this makes us such low animals to them
Mhm.
that we are not allowed anywhere near outer space. If we tried to go up without the secret passcode patch on us, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The seven that's kind of turned, the seven, that chevron. If we go out into space without that, we're terminated
I
because
heard there's a
we're an
wall out.
infestation
Yeah, I heard there's
that
a wall. I heard there's a wall out there that we can't go very
it's
any
not a
further.
wall. It's not any more than there's an ice wall in Antarctica.
Okay.
It's not a wall, but it is a range that we're not to go outside of unless we are approved by wearing the patch. Look at every single space agency on the planet: Japan, China, Russia, Argentina, everybody, Brazil. Look at everybody that's got a space agency, including every one of NASA programs, all the way back to the beginning. And you'll notice they all have one common shape on their project patch.
Yeah.
Without that, you are not, they'll kill you.
How do we get that patch, Michael?
No, you can make one. And if I were going to take Kesha's drawings for making a spaceship and decide to go out into space, I would definitely have a suit, like the car racers.
Yeah.
I would have those things all over it. It's like, yeah, I'm approved, man. But I don't go out into space with a body, and I haven't ever gone out into space in a body. I've gone out in space energetically, but I've never gone out in space in a body.
Hmm. Yeah,
Not
I
that I
don't
know
know.
of, anyway.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, I've been abducted, but I'm not sure if it was just my essence
Yeah.
or my energy,
At
or
13, I was voluntarily leaving my body and going out into space.
Mhm.
I very easily mastered going out through the roof, going down the street, and going down into a neighbor's home, and walking into their home. Um, Usually around 1:30 or 2 in the morning, just as I was falling asleep, but not quite asleep. And I would intentionally leave right through the roof. And I rode a bike at that time. And so I couldn't just do a Google Earth thing. I had to go down the roads, over the roads, even though
Mhm.
I'm like 50, 60 feet off the ground. I'm going over the roads and I drop down and I go right in their front door and I look at the entire place and map it and then tell them in school what the inside of their house looks like, having never been there. That kind of
You,
stuff. One,
yeah.
I figured out that was just dumbbells. Okay. Now I'm ready for barbells. And I decided to go out into space. I went out so far, Dave, that I couldn't recognize my star, the
Really?
sun. The sun. I was so far away from the sun that it looked like the other stars. And I was scared worse than I've probably ever been in my entire life. And I did a 180 exactly. And I flew back at the fastest rate that I could. And finally, one star started getting a little bigger. And it was the right one. And of course, then it's easy to find
Michael, how's that
Earth.
related to remote viewing? Is it close
It's the
together?
same thing. It's the
Same
same
thing.
thing. Yeah, it's the same energy that you use for remote viewing. When I was remote viewing the Pentagon and things like that, it was, it's not quite the same as going out into space, but it's the same getting out of the body,
Mhm.
staying inside the space, inside the energy belts. Van Allen is only a couple of them uh, that are around Earth. Getting through those is a different thing than just curving around. Earth is round, by the way. It's a ball, people.
Yeah. I never did think it was flat. And you said there is no ice wall. You said that a
No,
while.
there's no ice wall.
Yeah.
There is an ice layer on top of the land.
Yeah.
And so looking at it from below, I'm sure it looks like a wall, but if you come above, it just looks like that's where the whole land is. It's 6,000, 7,000 feet up off the surface. But it's because all the ice is that level because of the when Earth tipped 23 and a half degrees, all that water shifted back and froze right over the top of Antarctica. And
Yeah.
it froze on top of the oceans too, but all that action melted them down. And that's when all the oceans were 400 feet lower than they are now. And then all that ice that was not on land, because land holds temp, all that ice that was on the waters melted and then it raised back up over time. And that's why underneath the Mediterranean and off of Cuba and all these places, there are towns, there are cities, there are amazing constructions that are less than 400 feet underwater.
Mhm.
Yeah, all over the planet.
Now, I talked about disclosure, and I think you mentioned a few things like we're killing babies, we're killing ourselves, and we're some bad MF hombres, I guess. So the ETs don't want anything to do with us while we're in that state of thinking
Correct.
or
Now,
mind. Is that
well,
right, Michael?
here's the logic, Dave, and you tell me if they're wrong. If we are so unstable that we kill our own unborn children, what are we going to do when we meet a 6 foot reptoid or an 8 foot mantid?
Hmm.
Are we just going to go, "Hey, dude, how you doing?" No. And so this is why to get into Space Force and get into the elite areas of Space Force, where only 50,000 are, your mind is constantly tested and ensure that you are of a level of mental maturity that you're able to be in high school. And I would say that right now 75% of the human race is not ready to be in high school.
Yeah. Uh, Last topic I wanted to bring up is
Oh, darn. The last one
yeah,
already?
yeah,
Damn.
yeah, we got to get you to work pretty
No,
soon.
no, no. I'm not. I'll play for another 30 if you want.
Oh no, that's okay.
If you
Uh,
want, or whatever you need,
yeah,
because things are later now because we're later in the year. But go ahead.
okay. But I wanted to talk to you about Antarctica and all the theories and all the talking that's going on about Antarctica and the bases there, and
Yeah.
they're controlling things, and then take it all the way back to the Nazis back in World War II. They moved to Antarctica. Is that a fact?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did
There's
we? Is that
it
true,
goes way
Michael?
beyond that, but yeah, I'll touch on that part. So Antarctica was basically Australia when Earth was straight up and down.
Yeah,
Okay. Which was very, very beautiful. And that was Atlantis.
really.
Do I lie, Dave?
No, no,
Look,
yeah,
go out and check
okay,
it out. Go
okay,
out and check. You'll find it. Okay. Anyways,
yeah,
so
okay.
if you look at a globe, it's tipped at 23 and a half degrees, and Antarctica's on the bottom. But if you straighten it up like this, now Antarctica's kind of over here, and that was a beautiful temperate, again, CO2 and O2 were higher levels in the atmosphere. So you had a warmer atmosphere, bigger plants, much more lush. It was a wonderful planet at the time. And it wasn't, I've heard these stories about, the Atlanteans, it was their
Hmm.
ego or it was their what. No, no, no. Venus came into our solar system and they couldn't do anything about it. And Venus was a rogue planet. It wasn't part of our solar system. When Venus came into the solar system, it came very close by Earth, and that's what tipped Earth 23 and a half degrees, causing all kinds of chaos. The giant arches in Chile fell over, and I mean, all this stuff that it took down was amazing because it was a sudden jerk of the entire planet. So that's what caused the ocean waves to come up and then wash back and cause 2 miles of ice to be on top of Antarctica, which was now here instead of here. Okay.
Yeah. So you're saying Venus is like our moon. It wasn't here from the beginning, right, Michael?
Well, it's not like our moon in the fact that an alien built it, but it's like our moon in the sense that it wasn't part of our original solar system.
I see.
Yeah. Venus was a rogue planet. It is a planet. It was a rogue planet. And when it got here, this is way back. When it got here, it recalibrated the solar system because planets can feel planets. Okay, the sun doesn't really feel the planet much, but the planet feels the sun a lot, and that is communicated between planets through this thread of energy. It's amazing. Anyways, they're alive. Planets are alive. So when Venus got in between Earth, Mercury, and the Sun, and when Earth, and now Venus is in there. By the way, Venus goes the wrong way.
Yeah.
All the planets go this way, but Venus goes this way. So Earth was tipped over, and it was very wobbly. So as it's going around the sun, it's very wobbly. And it was like that way for quite a while, making it a very lousy laboratory until the Draco decided to bring the moon into where it is, which is a perfect mathematical placement to stop the wobble 99.9997%. So now the wobble is only a teeny tiny bit every 2,600 years, right? Because the moon is this counterbalance that keeps everything stable. It's amazing.
Is there
Uh,
life underground in Venus? Like Thor, they said come here in the
yeah,
late
Thor.
50s
Thor
and it,
was Thor spent time. Now Thor is 1,000 years old. Okay, so Thor spent time on Venus. He wasn't born on Venus. He spent time on Venus, quite a few what we would call years on Venus. And then when Earth started doing uncontrolled fission reactions without any knowledge of what they do, then Valiant Thor was sent here to try to get the people at the Pentagon to stop using uncontrolled fission reactions,
Mhm.
that which is called atomic bombs.
Right.
Okay. So, um, and the reason is because I don't know how many physicists are watching right now, but this is the time space line. Okay. And this is a spike that happens when you release a giant uncontrolled fission reaction. Boom. But over here at the harmonic and over here at the subharmonic are smaller reactions that happen. And this is time space. So this is a different time in a different space, and this is a different time in another direction in a different space. And around the spike, there's these subspikes, and it causes damage in other places and times every time we do an uncontrolled fission reaction. This is why it's so important that we stop using nuclear stuff and we don't need it anymore. Our ability to control energy is so far beyond the need for anything nuclear. We should convert all nuclear stuff into, dilute it and turn it into power rods for nuclear energy. We should have 4,000 little nuclear plants in the country. Each one's little and local, just like, so it can't get out of hand. We can't, all this kind of stuff. And we would be much better off
The
than
powers, yeah, the powers to
yeah.
be like the cabal and the big rich families, they don't want us to have free energy.
No.
They want to make money off of our slavery, I guess you can call it in a
Well, that's
way. I mean,
started with Westinghouse, when Tesla showed that he could provide free energy to everyone in New York. He showed it.
yeah,
He verified people, free power. That's when Westinghouse said, I can't put a meter on that. I'm going to lose a lot of money. And he ordered the death of Nikola Tesla, who was hit by a truck in front of his house and killed. And three people got all of his lab notes and lab equipment,
mhm,
John Trump being one of them.
right.
So that is how that went. Free energy was made available. Anti-gravity was made available by Schlumberger. There's back in the 40s, showed how anti-gravity worked. So why aren't we having all anti-gravity stuff? It takes very little energy to use Earth's own gravity field and power things and then reduce it because you're using it and then you automatically float. I mean, it's
Yeah,
so easy to do this as long as you're not hit with a scalar weapon,
yeah.
like we did to
Scalar.
the three ships in Alamogordo. Anyways, free energy could be had by everybody, and that's another reason why we're not allowed into high school. I mean, I made it the big reason is because humans kill humans. Well, that's the big reason up here. There's a bunch of other little reasons down here also, and one of those little reasons is charging for something as basic as energy, water, clean air, like this kind of charging for that.
Hmm.
That's free right to live. You
Yeah,
need that to live. So you're
yeah.
charging for right. No.
I mentioned slavery a while ago. I didn't mean that as a racist thing. Actually, the powers to be want to enslave us more. They want us
Yes.
to just work, make
We're all
money.
slaves already.
Yeah, yeah, we are.
Everybody's slave. And an employee, by the way, in law, I told you I've litigated in state and federal courts. An employee in law is a servant. Did you know that? An
Yeah.
employee is a servant.
Yes.
While you're on the clock for that boss, you are his or her servant.
Right.
Therefore, slavery exists, doesn't it, Dave? Let me
Yes,
ask you
it
this. Let me
does.
ask you this. Suppose that it's 1850 and you're a black worker on a southern farm. And just like today's illegal Mexicans, okay, only then they were people brought here against their will. And here, oftentimes, they're brought against their will through traffickers. Think about it. So it's 1850. You're living on a farm. You're given a place to live, food to eat, medical care when you're sick. You educate your own children. You've got your own schooling. All that stuff is provided for you, and you work. Or move to today, you get paid some pittance and you have to provide for your own living expenses, food, medical expenses, education expenses, transportation expenses, all that kind of stuff. So at the end of the month, you're in debt.
Yes.
What is worse? And I hear people, oh, how can you say such a no? Look, before let's just go before. Let's not make it 1850. Let's make it 1750. Who were the slaves in 1750, Dave? The
Irish.
Irish.
Yes.
So let's use that. Okay. So now we're not talking about any kind of race, right? Okay. Because you're a white guy, I'm a white guy. We can talk about this, right? So the Irish were given place to live, place, all that kind of stuff. Or now they're an employee and it costs more for them to live than they make. Who's better off, Dave?
Yeah. Who
Back
is?
then, you could have gotten beat by your owner. Yeah. But today, you can get beat by some liberal on the street. So you know what I mean? So I'm not sure which is better, actually, mathematically, mentally, anything else, what's better, but they seem comparable to me. This is why I retired in 1990 and decided that I wasn't going to be anybody's slave.
It looks like you're doing well. Uh,
Well, I pay the rent, it's all good.
okay. The Irish now, they actually took the young girls and impregnated them because they wanted more. They
Yeah.
wanted more people to work
Yeah.
for them.
And if
It
you don't think that Epstein in Texas with an underground facility wasn't doing the same thing, then you're not informed.
really okay.
I
Epstein.
got you, Dave.
Yeah,
I got
Epstein.
you on one.
Yeah,
You don't know
Epstein.
about this. Look
No, I
up
don't.
Epstein underground um, birthing facility. I think that'll probably get you there. I
Why
try to
were they?
think like the computer to
Why
maximize
were
your
they?
results.
Why were they birthing to enslave them
Uh,
the babies?
to increase, look, Epstein's got huge ego. It's an ego that you've probably never bumped into personally. Okay, it's that big. Epstein wanted to have his own race, basically.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, he was an egotistic guy.
Oh man, the
Uh,
only one I can think of that's even worse is Fauci. But
yeah, yeah,
you
but
don't know the kind of atrocities he was doing.
and I don't know. I one of my gripes. We talk about the turmoil. One of my gripes is these people talk about having facts and receipts stacked on their desk about a half a mile tall, but there's no arrest, no convictions, nothing going on. And when they go to court, they lose or they dismiss the case.
You
So what is going on, Michael? Is there a free pass for people that's got money?
How do I say this? In one of my songs, I think it's Great Awakening. Uh, I talk about two sets of rules so unfair. There's two sets of rules. One's for them and one's for us.
Right.
And if you know what they are for them, then you can make them apply those rules to you. But if you don't know what they are for them and you only know about what they are for you, you can never get out of the box. This is why I make sure I know uh, actual law, actually what's written, not how they've enforced it, not how they've misenforced it. Don't
Hmm.
settle for res judicia. Make the case on its own merits. All these kinds of things allow us to do our little bit of differences, Dave, our little bit of differences that make things better. Okay. So you have your show. It's not a little show. You're doing all right. Your show brings people on like me who can at least make people realize that there is a box. I know your audience, vast majority of them already knows all that kind of stuff. But if we can just
Enlightenment.
if we can
Yes.
just pick them out a little more, if we can just bring them up a little higher. In my song "Wake Up," I say, "Zoom back and step up to see the light." So you've got to really get perspective on things to understand. And this is what they count on you not having by getting uh, part of the story on the lamestream media and then triggering emotions. Because once those emotions are going, then there's no cogent, logical thought.
I hear you.
Yep.
I'm hearing
And
you
they're good at
strongly.
what they do, bud. They're
Yeah.
really good.
And
You know,
my job is to enlighten people. I
yeah,
wrote my 4 books, and I'm doing podcasts to enlighten people
yep.
and to tell them, just like you said a while ago, to get a super brain going and a perfect brain.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get people to think conscious, have some consciousness about them, because that's what
Well,
ET is going to want.
fear is the great stopper of all mankind.
Yeah,
And
it is.
so knowledge defeats fear. So our job, in my opinion, Dave, I'm not pushing this on you. Our job, in my opinion, is to give people information so that they have knowledge. Once they have knowledge, that reduces their fear, that
Right.
increases their potential
That's correct.
closer to what their ultimate potential is.
Hmm.
Because when you don't have any fear, you can do what I do,
Yeah.
and quite frankly, it's miraculous.
Yeah.
And that's, I want everybody to do it. It's like,
You're
I'm not special. I just have knowledge.
yeah, you do. You're very expanded in your knowledge, and you know a little bit about everything. I like that about you, and that's why I like talking to you. We're
Thanks,
moving
Dave.
up on an hour and 15 minutes. So,
Okay.
in closing, would you
Yeah.
tell us your last thoughts before we sign off?
Last thoughts. People, number one, prepare. Now, I was saying back in 2018, buy physical silver, buy physical silver, sell your stocks, sell your bonds, sell your crypto, buy physical silver. If you had done that, you'd be making 5 times what you paid for it today.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I say something like this, please look into it for your own interest. I'm not making anything on this. All I'm trying to do is share what I know with you guys so that you can have an equal opportunity. All right. So right now, the thing is get good food. It doesn't hurt to buy an ounce of silver once a month if you can.
Yeah.
Get good food. I just bought a half a cow of grass fed, grain finished, mountain grazed Arizona beef. Okay. So I want everybody to have whatever you eat, have a lot of that stored right now because the delivery lines, processing abilities of a lot of the things we take for granted in food are going to be disrupted in 2026. Silver jumped almost 50% because China stopped all exports of silver to the United States. We're playing these games, right? And
Mhm.
this isn't public because I don't know why they don't want you to know this, but it's a fact. 40% of our silver came from China. It got cut off in a day. Price almost doubled in a day. It's like, it's craziness, right? But if you're aware of it ahead of time, then you could make a lot of money on it or a lot of value, however you want to say. I made a lot of value. I want you to make a lot of value. Get food, have the ability to clean water when it's dirty, get food, um, learn how to manifest. And the best way to learn how to manifest is to watch The Matrix, realize that that's a documentary, and that the construct, that white room where everything can appear in, you can get into in your brain. That is the spot in your brain. They told you it. I mean, everything that's in the construct is in somebody's brain with the
Right.
plug plugged in. You don't need the plug, okay? Create that room, get in that room, and manifest whatever you want. You want to know more about that? Write me, Michael, Michael, at ArizonaUFOtours.com. Write me with a question. I'll answer it for you.
I'll have it in the narrative when I post the show.
Also,
So
one other thing, I wanted to make a correction from the beginning when you talked about Sedona News. It's Sedo News.
the Doe news. Okay.
Sedo News with a dot in the middle. So I got a new URL, Dave. It's
Okay.
Sedo dot
Okay.
news. It's as
I'll
short as you can get. Sado.news. I do every Sunday. It's a 20 to 25-minute news episode. I don't bring up anything else but me talking on the camera with attitude, a little less controlled than I do here on Dave's show. So,
okay.
you might enjoy that a little bit. It could be kind of
Okay.
fun. And then I
That,
end every episode with one of my songs from one of the Terra Anomaly albums.
okay.
So that's a good chance for you to get some rock and roll while you're at it.
All right. Thank you, Michael Sedona, for doing another great show. And this is the then Strange Reality with Dave Emmons. And I thank everybody for listening. And I'm sure you'll enjoy the show. You listen to it all the way through because there's a lot of good stuff in the show. Okay. Thank you, Michael Sedona, for being on the show, buddy. And
Till
good
next time,
night.
Dave. Thank you,
Until
man.
next time. It'll be
Keep doing
soon.
what you're doing, buddy. Keep doing
Thank,
what you're doing.
thank you, buddy. Thank you.